Hi, my name is Nicole Severiano, and I'm the Senior Account Manager here with PersonalFinanceLab. So here we are on our main page of our website. So we're going to go ahead and go over a little bit of details about how it works and how you can customize this to fit into your classroom. So let's go ahead and log in. So if you notice, you have the two different options. Log in with a username and password, or you can log in with your Google Classroom. Let's go ahead and log in. So the first thing we will see is our teacher dashboard. So here is a quick view of what's going on within your challenges. You can see things like announcements you make to your class, such as, test on Friday, don't forget your homework, things like that. You'll see your portfolio rankings, your budget game rankings, your assignment progress, and your top traded securities. And you'll even have recent forum posts. This way you can get the conversations going not only in the classroom, but outside of it as well. Students will be able to chat with other students in the challenge, and they'll be able to ask questions and get conversations going. Just quickly, let's just switch over to our student view. And if you'll notice, it is just a little bit different. So it's a lot more engaging and exciting for them. Here they'll see their portfolio. They'll see a watch list that they can customize themselves. They can see their recent orders that have been placed. They can see their budget game information, their budget game transactions, the announcements that you post for them, their word of the day, which changes every day, their latest news, as well as their profile. So the fun thing with the profile is teachers and students can earn badges. So throughout the games, they will have different obstacles and criteria that they have to meet. Once they meet them, they can earn these badges and choose which ones they'd like other students to see. So let's go ahead and get our class set up so we can go through it and see some of the different options that are available to customize it to fit into your classroom. So underneath your administration tab, you will go to Create Challenge. Put in your challenge name. A challenge description. How many students you have. And if you notice here, there's a few options to customize it. You can even say yes or no to the badges, and we even have new certificates. This way students have something to work towards. You can choose for them to do the Investing 101 or the Financial Literacy Certification. So with these, teachers are able to download these PDFs, and when a student is completed, they will be able to print it out and have their names on it. This is just something a little bit extra for students to keep engaged. So the first thing we have here is the budget game. So the budget game has two different game modes. First being a student with a part-time job, and the second being a full-time worker. One of the great things is we have the option to actually graduate into a full-time worker. So this way students will be able to play the game and see what life is like for both. So teachers will be able to customize it by choosing the start and end date, how many months they'd like them to complete, and even set up a speed limit just to make sure they're not going over the time frame. They want to make sure they are keeping with the rest of the students. You can put that in here. They can choose your starting cash as well as your income. Here you have your part-time, here you have your full-time. And the great thing is you can use this as another class activity as well to really make sure that it is fitting your class specifically and your area. You can actually have your students look up what rent is, what car insurance costs. This way it can really fit your class specifically. At the bottom here, you will see how the game looks for your students. This way you can make sure that your students have a little bit of extra money left over at the end if that's how you want them to play the game. Next, we have the portfolio simulation. You can choose the currency, your trading start and end date. So everything you can see here can be fit your class. You can change it at any time as well. And the great thing is, like I mentioned, you can start everything out at no. And once you do some assignments and you learn together, you can switch them over to yes. And of course, the most fun option of all is to include yourself in the rankings. I always recommend to teachers to include themselves. It does increase the engagement within the classroom. Next, we have the trading settings. So you can choose anything here, the amount of trades, you can limit the amount, you can even require trade notes. All of the security types available. You have all of the exchanges available. You can pick and choose whatever you'd like or choose the default settings that are already in place. And you can even customize it as well. So next is the assignment section. This is the bulk of the website. We have well over 300 assignments, activities, and different things for your students to enjoy here. Most teachers will set it up kind of week by week. This way it ensures that students are completing the work in a timely fashion. So you can really customize it to fit exactly how you want it. You can make sure your students are completing this by Friday at 3 o'clock, and then even rewarding them once they complete the assignments. So if you notice our lessons, we have a bunch of different subject matters: beginner, intermediate, elementary school. We even have personal finance, economics, accounting. So if you notice here, there is definitely something that will fit into your classroom. Quickly to show you one of the articles. We do try to keep them very short and sweet to make sure that students are still engaged by the end. And then there is a short pop quiz to make sure that students are realizing and grasping all the concepts. And one of the great things is as well, we do have assessments that are available. We have pre and post tests, and we even have a final assessment to use once you've completed the entire semester. This way you can really see what your students have learned throughout the year. Now, getting your class registered. We have a couple different options here. You can even have them create their own accounts by clicking this link, or put this in your Google Classroom. And the third option is that you can generate the accounts for them. This way we will send you some accounts. You'll be able to hand those out with emails and passwords. So all the information that you've chosen is here. You'll also receive an email as well. So let's head over to our portfolio and make that first trade. If you notice down here, some students, maybe aren't sure where to begin. So we do give them some popular stocks that they might be familiar with. Most students do keep the buy what you know mentality and will purchase something that they are a little bit more familiar with. Of course, let's go ahead and get some Apple stock. Put in our trade note. And let's view our portfolio. So we can see the information here either through the standard view, different chart views, and everything is exportable to Excel or Google Sheets, depending on what you're using in the classroom. We not only have the portfolio simulation, we have a full research section as well. If your students are curious about that, you can see all on the side here. Everything is available for them. This way it makes it much easier because they no longer have to go onto any third-party websites. The next thing I will show you is some of the different reports that are available. So you will be able to see all of the information that your students are doing throughout the games. You can see how many students are registered, activity report, diversification, all of their rankings, which is of course very important. You can see your budget game reports, how many students have used their accounts. You can set up different teams. And one of the great things is as well, you also have the option to set up some custom reports. This way, if there isn't something that you want to see, you can create that yourself. Thing I will show you is quickly the budget game. So let's head over here and see how this game works. So the main screen here, students will be able to see their net worth, their credit score, quality of life, outstanding bills, savings, checkings, credit use, and their credit limit. They'll also have their game score here. The game score is calculated by compiling all the information above into one final score, which will be where the students are ranked. Everything is pretty self-explanatory except maybe the quality of life score. So keep in mind, most budgeting games are teaching students to work as many hours as they can and save as much money as they can. But you and I all know this is definitely not something that's very realistic. We want students to be able to learn how to balance their lifestyle, to not only save money, but have fun as well. So this is where the quality of life score comes into play. Anytime a student chooses something that's a little bit extra, they will be getting some quality of life points. Down here, it does give them their objective. They can even click here on how to play the game for a short video. Things first, it's going to ask students where they'd like to live. So you as the teacher set it up at $250 a month, but students now have the option they can go with something a little bit cheaper or something a little bit more expensive. So they will be able to try and live a lifestyle that they would like, and maybe even gain some quality of life points as well. They can choose their TV and their internet plan, their cell phone plan, and their grocery plan. Of course, at any time they can change these fixed expenses, but just like in real life, there are fees that are associated with it. So now that we are in the game, we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you notice here, it's telling us to click to get to play. So we're going to roll the dice. But before we can get started, we do need to build our monthly budget. So let's go ahead and continue. And it's going to show us how many hours we're working this week. We'll put in our total. And next is all of our bills and expenses. And the last thing here, it's asking us to estimate on some unplanned expenses that will come up throughout the month. And last but not least, it's asking how much we'd like to save this month. So as a good target, we usually recommend they should be saving about 10% of their expected income. So 10% here. Right now we're going to start moving throughout the calendar. And as we move, you will see different bills that we'll be processing throughout the month. So our rent has been issued, so we need to make sure we get that paid before the 9th. So first thing, we have a road trip. So we need to pay $14 for our share of gas. So there are times where you get cards like this where you don't have the choice to say yes or no. Sometimes students can say they don't want to go on certain things, or they will have the choice to choose just their debit or credit. So let's go ahead and pay this with our credit card. And if you notice, our credit has been used, and we can go ahead and pay that off. And you will notice our credit score will not only increase, but so will our credit limit. So now that it is the weekend, students will have the option to choose something to do, on Saturday. They can work extra hours, socialize with their friends, do some chores, or do some studying. So of course, you'd think that working extra hours would be the best option, but of course, this isn't the best option. Students do need to learn that they need to balance their lifestyle. So if they're always working extra hours, they might fall behind on their studies and fail a class and have to pay for a tutor, or fall behind on their chores and now their house is a mess and they have to pay a maid to come in to clean it. So every choice a student makes throughout the game does have different consequences. So even though two students are sitting next to each other with the same expenses, their games can turn out completely different. So let's go ahead for this weekend and choose to do some chores. So we spent a couple of hours clipping coupons. So now we're going to save some money on our next grocery bill. So once we have our groceries, we'll see all the money that we've saved. We trip and chip our front tooth. So we have to go to the dentist and get it repaired. So we can go ahead and pay that with our debit card. And you can see our different bills are popping up as well. So let's go ahead and make sure we get our rent paid. As you can see, our quality of life score is going up, our game scores are going up just by going through life. So now it's time for our groceries. Still moving through the month. And our car seems to be making some noise, and we're going to have to go ahead and get our fan belt replaced. So if you notice here, we do have different question marks that will pop up throughout the game. These are short assignments that students have to complete before they can move forward. So this one's asking when our which day of the month our credit card is issued. So if we scroll through, we can see that the statement is issued on the 19th of every month. So we can go ahead, and if we put in the wrong date, students will not only lose $10, but they will not be able to move forward until they get the correct answer. So now we've earned $25 and we can move forward. So as you can see, students do move through the game day by day. Different things will pop up throughout the month. Depending on the time of year as well, will make the cards a little bit different. So closer to the holidays, you might have more holiday cards that pop up. And then, once a year, a card comes in the mail with a check from your grandmother for your birthday. So we try to make the game as realistic as possible so that students not only feel like they are living a real life, but it will get them to start asking the correct questions. And once they're asking these questions, not only within the classroom, but at home, students are really learning and grasping these different concepts. As you can see here, everything has changed. Now we're at minus net worth because we've used quite a bit of our credit card. So we want to make sure we get these things paid. So as a teacher, you will be able to see everything your students are doing within the budget game. You can see their credit card statements, which can also be used as different activities within the classroom. Pretty much everything you see here helps not only engage your students, but gamify your classroom. And I know that teachers are always looking for ways to keep students interested and having fun while learning. This is definitely your option. So I do want to thank you very much for your time today. And I would recommend you coming over to our website and having a look, reaching out to any of our staff here through our chat option, email, or phone call. We're always here to help, and we look forward to helping you gamify your classroom. Have a great day.